3 of our brave soldiers have been martyred in Anantnag in South Kashmir, which includes a major, a colonel, and a deputy superintendent of the Jammu Kashmir police. Now, the question is, if peace had indeed returned to the valley, as the government claims it has, why are we then seeing attacks of this nature? This was an ambush reportedly based on wrong intelligence information. Why are we busy playing against the team of the very same country which is accused of sponsoring, fomenting, financing, and sending these terrorists across the border? The question that we should be asking is, why are we playing them in the Asia Cup and later next month in the World Cup? Is it double standards that on the one hand, Pakistan Army, its proxies, they kill Indian soldiers, and on the other hand, we play them in cricket matches, making this rather tenuous argument, this tenuous connection, that we are only playing them in multilateral formats and not necessarily in bilaterals? Does that hold, especially after what happened in Anantnag, where 3 of our brave soldiers have died? The question tonight is, can terror and cricket coexist? If terror is happening and it's emanating from Pakistan, then should we stop all ties, including sporting ties? But first, the story.
जब तक कोई रास्ता न ढूंढा जाए जिससे अमन आ सके, लड़ाई से अमन नहीं आता है, बातचीत से अमन आता है। कहीं ये गैर मुल्की किसी और मुल्क से तो नहीं है।
जब आतंकी माहौल बनाती है पाकिस्तान, तो उनके साथ किसी तरीके का संवाद नहीं होना चाहिए। स्पोर्ट्स ग्राउंड पे हो या किसी सोशल ग्राउंड पे हो, किसी कल्चरल ग्राउंड पे हो या किसी तरीके का बायलैटरल रिलेशनशिप हो।
इससे सबक लेना चाहिए इस गवर्नमेंट को, दिल्ली की गवर्नमेंट को, कि कश्मीर में हालात अभी मामूल पर नहीं आए हैं और ये प्रोपेगेंडा हो रहा है मामूल पर है।
अगर उसके ऊपर दबाव डालना है तो उसको अलग थलग करना पड़ेगा। नॉर्मल चीजों के अंदर हमारे साथ रिश्ता तब तक नहीं कर सकते जब तक आप खुद नॉर्मल नहीं हो।
Now, there are a multitude of reasons as to why Pakistan has struck at this given point of time. The first and most obvious reason is that there has been massive success around the Delhi-hosted G20, India's rising global stature. And that, of course, is a concern for Pakistan, because clearly the bridge, the divide between India and Pakistan, or the gap between India and Pakistan, has been further accentuated because of what happened in Delhi over the G20. Reason number 2, this plot is meant to try and sidetrack or to try and reboot the plans for holding elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this has been a sore point with the government. They dissolved the abrogated Article 370 in 2019. The Assembly has been dissolved sine die. The government has been promising that there will be elections, but we haven't seen evidence of that just yet. Reason number 3 is to try and obstruct the development drive post the abrogation of Article 370 and the return to a semblance of normalcy and peace in the valley. Reason number 4, this is a bid to try and create new terror routes. Remember, the traditional route has been via the line of control from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir into what is Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. But now they're trying newer routes, some via Jammu. We've seen attacks in Rajouri, some also via Nepal. And then, of course, there is the Punjab and Rajasthan borders as well. There is also a bid to try and create internal strife. Remember, there are massively consequential elections that are up ahead. You have the state elections in December for 3 North Indian states. Then you also have the big national polls in 2024. Remember, Pulwama happened just a few months before the 2019 general election. So it's very much possible that Pakistan wants to create a stir before the 2024 general election. But then, the terror attacks by Pakistan have always been hampered and hampered by cricketing ties, or hampered cricketing ties as a result. We go back all the way to 1993, the serial bomb blast in Mumbai. It was not until 4 years later, till 1997, that India decided to play a one-day series against Pakistan. Then you have the 2001 Parliament attack. Again, there was Operation Parakram. Both these standing armies were eyeball to eyeball through much of 2002. And then from 2001, the next test series was in Pakistan in 2004. Then there was the Mumbai terror attacks in 2008, 26/11. India called off all proposed bilateral series with Pakistan, whether it was in Pakistan or in India. The next series did not happen until much, much later. Then there was 2016, the Pathankot attack, and India called off an India-Pakistan series in the Asia Cup that was supposed to happen in 2018, right after the Pathankot attack in 2016. That was called off. And then there was Pulwama in 2019, where the BCCI was urged to sever ties with terror havens. They urged the ICC to cut ties with what they called terror havens. But India versus Pakistan clashes have always commanded, and this is why we continue to play Pakistan. Like I said, it's a rather tenuous argument that we won't play them in bilaterals, but we will play them in multilaterals, because there is so much money riding on the India-Pakistan clashes. What are we looking at? We're looking at 400 crores just on ad revenues for just that one match between India and Pakistan. That is a massive figure, commanded a lot of money, this clash. Now, why is it coming? Because every 10-second ad in the India-Pakistan match is sold at something like 25 to 30 lakhs. That is a huge premium. 28 million, that is the recorded number of concurrent viewers who are watching the match live. This happened in the first India-Pakistan game, the second India-Pakistan game in the Asia Cup that's currently happening in Sri Lanka. Not playing Pakistan costs the broadcasters dearly, it costs the cricketing boards dearly, it costs advertisers dearly. In fact, India has refused to visit Pakistan for any bilaterals, which means the only India-Pakistan games that are currently happening happen to be in multilateral formats, ICC events as they were. Remember, the Pakistan Cricket Board lost as much as close to 700 crores from media rights. Is it time now to adopt this same strategy? Because as long as Pakistan continues to bleed India, then should India stop all forms of engagement with Pakistan? Currently, we don't have a full-fledged ambassador in Pakistan. Neither do Pakistan have a full-fledged High Commissioner here in India. What we have are deputy chief the mission. The question that's being asked is, if we're willing to downgrade diplomatic ties, then what business do we have playing cricket while Pakistan continues to indulge in the strategy of bleeding India by 1,000 cuts? We're opening our phone lines. Is it time to snap cricket ties, all other cultural people-to-people ties with Pakistan? As long as terror continues, you can call us on 01206403751. 01206403571 is our number. Let's open this up to our panelists. Priyanka Chaturvedi is Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament of the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction. Rohan Gupta, National Spokesperson of the Congress, will be joining us. Ayaz Memon is a columnist, senior sports journalist, has been covering cricket for the last 40 years plus. Ratan Sharda, RSS researcher and commentator. Sushil Pandit, Kashmiri activist. And Faraz Saeed is a senior journalist joining us from Lahore. Let me start with you, Priyanka Chaturvedi. Some would say, it's apples and oranges. You cannot compare political reasons, geopolitical reasons for why Pakistan continues to indulge in the strategy of sending terrorists and bleeding India by 1,000 cuts to cricketing or people-to-people ties. Please explain to our viewers why you believe, and the India Alliance believes, that one and the other cannot go hand in hand.
Absolutely, because nothing is more important than the lives of our men in uniform and lives of Indians who die a painful death every time there is a terror attack. There is no apples to oranges comparison. I was listening to your news report very, attentively, and you said, economic ad revenue worth 400 crores. Is 400 crores more important? Economic money that you are earning out of this is more important than the lives that are being lost at the border? And I really think in 2017 it was Mr. Amit Shah who said there can be no ties with Pakistan after the Pathankot terror attacks. Now your scenario seems to have changed, and you want to play Pakistan every day. World Cup match happening in Ahmedabad in Narendra Modi Stadium. I think it is high time that we should not even engage with them economically. It's a failed nation. It's not Pakistan, it's Terroristan. And there is no points of engagement that India needs to look towards Pakistan as far as economy is concerned, as far as cultural relations are concerned, as far as diplomacy is concerned, as far as I would say cricketing ties are concerned or sports ties are concerned. I think that would be the strongest message that we can send out to the people of Pakistan, that we do not wish to engage with a nation that promotes terrorism in India, which takes away the lives of Indians and continues to indulge this despite a collapsed economy, despite being a failed nation, still puts its money into terror activities. And I think that is the message that I would clearly want to send across.
Okay, so Ayaz Memon, please defend as to how we can continue to play cricket, whether it's for commercial reasons or other reasons, when Pakistan is not deviating from the strategy of trying to bleed India by 1,000 cuts. Why should we continue to play cricket? And this rather tenuous argument, you know, we don't play bilaterals, we don't travel to Pakistan, Pakistan doesn't travel to India, but we will play them in ICC multilateral events. What is the justification for that?
So Zaka, I mean, look, you have to take a position. The government has to take a position that is it worthwhile pursuing through sport a way of rapprochement. If it is not, then obviously there are no ties. You know, you don't need to have sporting ties. But you can't be off on whims and fancies. You're off today, you're on tomorrow, you're on today, you're off tomorrow. For instance, the Asia Cup, we've seen, you know, we've had the India-Pakistan match. Not just the India-Pakistan match. You had a reserve day inserted in the middle of a tournament for India and Pakistan to play each other. So that's cricket, and cricket gets all the attention and all the, you know, the discussion and the debate. But within a week's time, we're going to have the Asian Games, where we're going to play them in hockey, in cricket, both men and women, and various other disciplines. And why is that very different from cricket that is being played, you know, in the Asia Cup or in the World Cup? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, there is a reason why sporting activities continue, and it's not just about India, Pakistan. It's about, you know, various nations that participate. You mentioned about multidiscipline and events like the Olympics and all, where there are many countries involved. But there is a pattern that is, you know, that which says that let's try and see if we can resolve a lot of these issues through sports. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. If you've taken a position or you're convinced that sport is not going to lead to any kind of amity at all, then you have to take a call. No cricket ties can happen, or any sporting ties, without the government's permission.
Yep. Okay, so let me ask Sushil Pandit, who's saying as to why, you know, this is not an apples to orange comparison, because the fact is that Pakistan is using this as a geopolitical strategy. It's not the Pakistan cricket team that is to be held responsible for this, it's the Pakistan army. And the minders in the ISI who should be held to account for this. By stopping cricketing ties, are you stopping terror attacks from the other side, Sushil Pandit?
Zaka, first of all, let me congratulate you for framing the entire issue up front in the program at the very nub of this entire problem. It is our lack of consistency in our response to Pakistan that we are today at this predicament as to how to deal with them. When Mr. Ayaz Memon says that sporting events, international sporting events, have a purpose and they go on irrespective of bilateral political relationships between the countries, I must remind him, about 45 years ago, India walked out of Davis Cup final because South Africa was on the other side. And the issue was apartheid, a faraway issue from India. No soldiers were bleeding on that issue. None of the Indian citizens were facing that issue. But we took a stand. Therefore, international sporting events also have a precedence. Two, if India-Pakistan relations today are at a low ebb, it's not because India has decided to do so. They threw out our High Commissioner Ajay Bisaria on 7th of August 2009. India did not scale down these relationships. They shut down all trade. India did not. They stopped import of even medicine. India did not. And they did it at a considerable cost to themselves.
Okay.
Yet they did it because they took a stand. We have never taken a stand. even on this issue, 400 crores is something that they need a lot more than we do. If there is an issue of propriety, if there is an issue of political morality, if there is an issue of our Jawans losing lives to their terror bullets, it is us who should be calling the shots, not Pakistan in this relationship.
No, that I agree. That I agree with you. That I agree with you. At the end of the day, it's our soldiers who are getting killed. It's Pakistani terrorists who are killing our Indian soldiers, and therefore it's time for India to take a position on this. I want to get two callers before I get in our Pakistani guest on this. Indrani is calling us from Jaipur. Go ahead, ma'am. Thank you for speaking with us here on Brass Tacks. What is your view? Should India snap cricketing or any kind of ties with Pakistan as long as this terror tap continues?
Yes, thank you, Zaka. I'm giving me the chance. Actually, I am an avid fan of cricket. Okay, and till last I forgotten the date. Watched the India Pakistan match, which was lashed out by rain.
Correct.
Then restarted again, and it was there just. I think India won with a maximum victory, but we should stop this cricket match any kind of ties with Pakistan.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let me go across to our next caller. Natarajan is calling us from Bengaluru. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Natarajan.
Hi. I heard some of your people talk, and I think the message comes across very clearly that we have not been consistent.
Yep.
Which means you are giving confused signals to the other side, and they take advantage of it because that's the way they are. Okay? So I'm very clear, we should not play cricket. If by any chance in the Asia Cup, it is Pakistan versus India finals, I think Rohit Sharma should walk out and say we are not playing as a protest. Here is a letter from the entire cricket team. Keep your cup and walk out.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see if that happens. I don't think it's a call that the cricket captain should be taking. It's a call that the BCCI as board should be taking. Let me also get one more caller in. Colonel Surinder Arora is calling us from Noida here in the National Capital Region. Yes, Colonel Surinder Arora.
Yes, Jaka, thanks for getting me on to be on net. I don't agree with all that's going on. Snapping cricket ties has no meaning at all.
Okay.
What we need to do is to drive home that if you kill 3 of ours, we'll kill 50 of yours. You have so many terror camps, we have full details of them. The political lot has to give the go-ahead to the armed forces. And before you have the next cricket match, let's have 2 extremist camps wiped out. Then go ahead with your cricket. It doesn't make a difference. That's my view.
All right, Colonel, thank you very much for joining us. The next 4G, I think that's a fair point as well. But let me ask Faraz Saeed, who's a senior journalist who's joining us from Lahore. Faraz, the thing is, it's not like terrorism is an issue just between India and Pakistan. Pakistan is facing something similar from at the receiving end from Afghanistan. And there have been instances in the past where the Pakistan Cricket Board has said, we won't play cricket with Afghanistan. We won't have any kind of people-to-people contacts with Afghanistan until this issue at the border is resolved. So why is that any different from what India is saying? Or what the sentiment or the overriding sentiment here seems to be that, you can't have this tenuous arrangement where, your soldiers are getting killed on the one side and you make this rather convenient distinction that we won't play them in bilaterals, but we'll play them in multilaterals because there are ICC commitments to be met. It doesn't work. It doesn't cut.
Zaka, I personally am not a cricket fan. Neither I propose that countries should be playing cricket. It's an absolute wastage of resources and time. But when it comes to Pakistan, India, cricket, that is the only source where people-to-people collaboration or people-to-people relationship is established. I mean, I am very much against jingoism becoming a tool for the policymakers to make policies to win the next elections. I mean, Pakistan and India is losing $35 billion worth of mutual trade. That is the cost. If we close down the cricketing path, that means there is going to be absolute hostility. Why do you bleed? Why do you cry over your martyrs today? Is because there is hostility between the two countries. And if we close down the only peaceful cricketing avenue, there is going to be greater hostility. That means
No, but
both of our
Faraz,
nations
you
are
don't
going to
you
have
don't see
more.
the obvious irony in your argument. You're saying peace on the one hand, and cricket is a means to or an avenue to peace, but there is no peace. 3 of India's soldiers have just been killed: a major, a colonel,
Well,
and a
that is-
deputy superintendent. That's not peace.
Well, that's
That's
the
not
problem.
peace.
No, that's the problem. That's the problem. Pakistan has lost 70,000 lives in the past 10 years to terrorism. We have been the biggest victims of terror. On the contrary,
this is
India
a
too.
false
I would agree.
equivalence. I've been
want to-
hearing
you're
this
the
for a number of
spokesperson
years.
of Pakistan.
Yes, Priyanka
point
Chaturvedi.
is,
Yes, this
I-
is a
Pakistan
complete
the
false
point is,
equivalence.
I
I
think
don't
the point
buy
is,
this
if we
argument
want
at
to
all.
No, I'm sorry.
If you want
I'm
to
not
talk
on
peace,
this.
if you want
I'm
to
not
talk
on
peace,
this debate to give a
if you want to talk
platform
peace,
to
One second,
Pakistan
Faraz,
and
one
for
second, please.
Pakistan to defend that how it is a victim of terrorism. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is absolutely unbecoming that we gave a platform to a Pakistan journalist and he comes and says they are the actual victims of terror. A day after we have lost 3 of our men in uniform because of terrorism being sponsored from Pakistan.
That wasn't my point.
And I'm supposed to be hearing
That
his
wasn't my point.
point of view.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
by the way,
I'm
one
sorry.
second.
I will not. I will not be participating
I
to a
agree with you,
debate.
Priyanka Chaturvedi.
Participant to a debate
No, no, I
which has
completely agree
Pakistani
with you.
spokespersons coming and
but
making a case for their
one
country.
second. I just want to also underline the fact that this is a stated position from Pakistan right from General Musharraf's time, right from Sharm el-Sheikh. The word victims
No,
of
so
terror,
why should we be listening
the
to it?
victims of
Why should
terror
we be
has
listening
been
to their
added
stated
from the Havana
position?
Declaration
Don't we all know
of
what their stated
2006,
position is? Their
2007.
stated position
I do not
is to
agree.
bleed
I
India
do not
through
agree.
100
I do
cuts.
not agree with the Pakistani position that they are victims of terror.
I am sorry. I don't want to listen to what their policy is. I
let
don't
me-
want to know what
so
their
let me
what
go
their
to
thought
Ratan
process is on this
Sharda and
particular
then Rohan
issue.
Gupta after that. Ratan Sharda. So this is where the nub of the problem is. The Modi government takes a very strong position right after terror attacks. You know, we had after Pulwama, we had Balakot, after Uri, we had the surgical strikes. But somehow, when it comes to this whole question of why are we continuing to play Pakistan in multilateral events, ICC events, etc., whereas, you know, the terror tap is still not switched off. Just yesterday, we saw what happened in Anantnag. And I dare say, and I suspect, it's going to continue. It's going to continue till you have an elected government there in Pakistan, a civilian government which may have some interest in trying to normalize ties with India. Till then, you will see an amped up activity of terror from across the border. The question that's being asked is, why is the Modi government, why is the NDA government still continuing with this policy of yes, cricket and sports in multilateral events, not in bilateral, but at the same time, we will be tough on them when it comes to terror? I mean, how do you justify that?
Well, Zaka, I am not here to justify anybody. First of all, I think the very idea, the way you have framed the debate, shows a knee-jerk reaction even in the media. When did Asia Cup start? At least a few weeks back. Did anybody object? Was there any debate? Not one debate that I remember about why we are playing in Asia Cup or why we are playing in World Cup. World Cup happened, all other ODIs happened. I am no fan of cricket, first of all. They are all commercial things. So none of us ever had a debate. Now debate happens because there is an attack. So who is doing a knee-jerk reaction? We ourselves. We don't have long-term policy, whether media, whether government. And secondly, 400 crores is nothing. It's a piddly amount for, Indian Cricket Club. They have got 10,000 crores every year out of IPL. They don't need money. Question is whether I'm going to, why just cricket, abandon all the sporting events, every kind of approach in any sports event. Why is it so? Either we decide that we don't go to any sports event where Pakistan is present. See, India has already reduced Pakistan to leper state where nobody touches. They are nowhere in the global picture. They have lost every stand. They are becoming nearly bankrupt. And people are saying today that we should ban. Here are two people from the same side of IND alliance. And one party, one of the members of the IND says that we should have continuous talks. Where were the Aman Ki Asha when 26/11 happened and all those terrorist act happened? These Aman Ki Asha people said, Mombati leke jayenge, hum dosti karenge. Then we are Sheikh Abu Omar Abdullah today again talking about baatchit honi chahiye. Congress saying baatchit honi chahiye. So we should have one stand. We cannot have cake and eat it too. if there is, this is, I believe, a stand which has to be taken by government, that from now on there'll be no sporting contact with any of the Pakistani teams.
So
then I can understand.
So let me.
But coming here after this terror
Let
attack
me ask
and
Rohan
doing all
Gupta
this.
Since you asked that question, Rohan Gupta, as part of the India alliance, will you take a stand that no people to people, no cultural, no sporting ties with Pakistan till this question of terror is addressed? You didn't take that position when you were in government.
When you fight Pakistan or China, you have to fight holistically. You cannot just fight on one front and other fronts are open. Even for example, China, when our 40 Jawans were killed, we fought back by banning their apps. But if you see today, our trade with China is increasing. So you cannot just do symbolical fight and just let the time go and again back to normal
You have
ties.
not responded. You have not responded to whether you are opposing Pakistan or not.
Sharda, give him a minute. Give him a minute. Let him make his point. Yes, Rohan Gupta.
Even if Pakistan is bankrupt, even each India-Pakistan match contributes something to Pakistan. Why should we allow that to happen? We cannot fight this battle on case-to-case basis. We have to fight it holistically, whether it is economically, or it is games, or it is military, or finance, whatever it is.
But Rohan, but you didn't do this when UPA was in power. You allowed Pakistan team to come for the 2011 World Cup, from 2004 series to 2009 series. We've had multiple series with Pakistan despite terror attacks. So what's changed?
Again, if you see past
today, what is the stance?
Let him respond. I'm coming to you, Priyanka. I'm coming to you once again. Let him finish.
So is the Congress leader.
You are speaking in between, Zaka.
No, I'm not. I'm stopping everybody else from speaking in between so that you can speak. Yes, go ahead, Rohan.
I am saying simple things. You cannot trust Pakistan or China. We have given enough chances, whether it's Mr. Vajpayee or Congress, we have given enough chances to Pakistan in past. Whether it's our government or BJP, now we cannot trust China or Pakistan. There has to be no tolerance policy where anything is there. We should not have any kind of engagement with Pakistan.
Okay, no engagement with Pakistan whatsoever. Priyanka Chaturvedi. You represent a party that dug up the pictures of Wankhede back in the 90s because you didn't want the Pakistan team to Mumbai.
Yes, absolutely, and we will continue to oppose this. We will continue to oppose these matches that happen with Pakistan. There can be no people-to-people ties or any, events which come with such baggage of terrorism along with them. We don't need that. We will continue to oppose it. Now, my only response to the reason I wanted to make a statement was when I heard Ratan Sharda ji saying Aman ki Asha, etc. I just want to jog his memory a bit. Ratan Sharda ji, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's entire campaign was 56 inch ka seena dikhayenge Pakistan ko. Wasn't it? What did he do the first week of his being elected? Who was the person he invited for his swearing-in ceremony? If you can tell me who it was of his own free will.
Yes.
Do you remember any Prime Minister of this country, stepping into Pakistan uninvited to celebrate the birthday of Pakistani Prime Minister? Who did it, Mr. Ratan Sharda? Jog your memory a little bit.
Yes.
And I would also want to tell you, the World Cup, Asia Cup, etc., there were protests even about that. There were protests, but you all are not listening to anybody. 2017, Amit Shah ji says that there can be no cricketing ties with Pakistan. What changes in the BCCI or the government of India for them to now invite Pakistan to have matches with Pakistan? You have not had a consistent policy. You promised this country that you will give them, show them the 56 inch ka seena. And what you gave them were 56 ways of making friends with them. That is what you all have done. So don't talk about earlier governments. Talk about what you all promised and how you all have failed to deliver.
Yes, Ratan Sharda, please respond. And then I've got 4 callers. I need to go to after that. Yeah.
Every Prime Minister has tried to have peace with Pakistan. Modi ji also tried. He took diplomatic initiative. The day it failed, he stopped everything for Pakistan. Pakistan became a leper, untouchable state in the global stage. But when terror attack happened, that 56 inch ka seena did the surgical strike, made Pakistan retreat into a hole. And who was supporting them? Congress, questioning the surgical strike, questioning the terror attacks. So all this happened, and after that, what has happened to Pakistan? This is what Modi ji has done. So don't bring in Modi ji's visit to Pakistan. Also remember what he has done to Pakistan, reduced to penury, reduced to total international untouchability. That's what he has done. I have said again, I am not in favor of ties, but then we should take a strategic decision. or sporting decision, no play of any kind of in any competition, then there should be no Farooq Abdullah, no Sofuddin Soz of Congress saying that हमको बातचीत करनी चाहिए. You sit here and give me lectures on the same front.
Let
talk
me also
with
get
Pakistan,
callers
and
in,
same
please.
Congress
I'm
says-
surprised he
Ranjanji,
left
once again,
out
I'm
Mehbooba
going to
Mufti,
move
maybe
away to
because they
some
were alliance
callers,
partners
please.
once.
I'm going to move away to some callers. Rajasekaran is calling us from Bengaluru. Yes, go ahead, Mr.
Yes,
Rajasekaran. Good evening. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yeah.
What I want to say is that we should boycott Pakistan, sir.
Okay.
We should not play cricket.
Okay.
What about our precious three officers, Indian officers, lost their lives? Who will pay for this? We can win tomorrow cricket match, but what about in these type of activities? We lost our precious life. That is very dangerous, sir. Very sorry for that.
All right, thank you for your call. Let's also go to our next caller, also from Bengaluru, by the way. Srinivasan is calling us from Bengaluru. Yes, Mr. Srinivasan.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
See, I have 4 very quick points. Number one is it's 36 years now when Pakistan has been bleeding us. And it is a misnomer to say that they are non-state actors. They are state actors. We have to be clear on that. Number 3 is, when we play Pakistan, you can play with them, you can do whatever you want with them. BCCI does not represent India, the Supreme Court has told that. Then, with the enemy state, a contract, if the Congress person who is in the BCCI committee says it's a contract, international contracts with the enemy country, the government cannot do it, it is in the law. Then last thing is, who is going to gain with that? Only the Pakistan with the money which will again be funded to the terror. And one last point is, the only game which India should play with Pakistan is the Mossad. They should play the Mossad game with Pakistan, then only they'll come to their knees. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Vipul is calling us from Mumbai. Mr. Vipul, yes. Good evening.
Good evening, Zaka. Thank you for having me. I just want to ask those who are recommending the cricket match with Pakistan, please go and talk to the family members of our martyrs. Ask them, would you like India to play cricket match with the Pakistan? Is this the way we will take care of the family members' sentiments and the whole defense forces? What defense forces in personnel will be thinking about the decision that we will be going ahead with cricket? Even if you keep losing your lives on the border, we will play cricket. What is this? What kind of morale we are going to boost? What kind of mentality is this?
Vipul, thank you for your call. I understand your emotions. Let me also get one final caller. Sanjay is calling us from Agra. Sanjay, yes, go ahead, Sanjay.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, Jaka. Jaka, I'm so angry. I'm really angry. I'm finding it so difficult to speak. My condolences to the brave hearts who have lost their lives. I mean, we should immediately call off all kind of contacts with Pakistan. Forget cricket. Everything should be called off with them. It's a one rogue nation, which is its civic society, its politicians, everything. They have lost their they are beyond redemption. When we talk about their civil society is good and they want to have good relations with India, I would like to remind them to look at the people like Shahid Afridi in the way he talks about Jammu Kashmir and all that stuff, and I find it so difficult to digest this thing the way Virat Kohli and the others gel with Pakistani team. I mean, has the owners of fighting for the country only with the army and the paramilitary forces?
Okay, Sanjay, thank you for your call. Let me get quick closing comments. Ayaz Memon, yes, you understand the anger of some of these callers, and I think it's genuine. The anger is there because you cannot have business as usual when soldiers are being killed on the one side. You're playing cricket with Pakistan. The anger is genuine. You got to appreciate that.
No, of course. I mean, there are lives lost and the lives lost of people in uniform from India. So obviously there will be, there'll be a lot of anger, I would imagine. But what I've watched on this debate is, tutu mai between two political ideologies. That's not the point. The point you're raising is, should we be playing sport or not? I'm saying that, I'm one of those who proposes, I'm a proponent of using sport or any other means for improving relations. Now, cricket has become a big hawa, between India and Pakistan. Is there going to be in the Asian Games? There's going to be javelin competition. There's Neeraj Chopra, the gold medal winner, Olympic medal winner, and obviously many other medals. And there is Arshad Nadeem from the other side. Are you going to say no? Neeraj Chopra should pull out from that event and not participate? Are we?
No, but Ayaz, let me just come to that. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. What the difference is. I don't think the athletics associations of either India or Pakistan make 400 crores out of Neeraj Chopra's javelin throw or Arshad Nadeem's javelin throw. Whereas in the Asia Cup they do.
Is money the issue then?
No. The money is very much the issue also, because if you have a broke country on the other side and they are getting somewhere to the tune of 400 crores basis just one match, then yes, money is the issue.
No, if money is the issue on which debate is formed, then I'm afraid that you're barking up the wrong tree.
Okay.
It's about tenor.
Yes.
It's not about the money. It's about lives lost.
So okay, on principle I agree with that, but Sushil Pandit, then answer what Ayaz is saying. Neeraj Chopra and Arshad Nadeem are throwing javelins. Why doesn't anybody have a problem with that? Suddenly, when it comes to cricket, everybody has a problem, including the BCCI giving a reserve day because of rain. No other match is a reserve day. Only India Pakistan. Why? Because it's money, right?
Zaka, these are false equivalences. When an Indian team plays Pakistan team, it is 1-to-1 competition. When javelin throwers come, they are one among 50, and they are not necessarily competing with Pakistan. So the team sport where 1-to-1 country plays, it is between two countries. Let this be very clear. When there are 30 athletes running on the track, it is not against Pakistan that we are running. That's not, no country has ever boycotted. But yes, when there was boycott of Moscow Olympics, when there was boycott of Los Angeles Olympics, there was a total boycott, and it was on political reasons. There are precedents in the global sports arena where people have taken a stand. And that stand ought to be taken, because we are bleeding, we are hemorrhaging for the last 4 decades, first in Punjab, then in Kashmir, and continuously in Kashmir. How can we, it is unconscionable. How can we see this happen year after year, government after government? 9 prime ministers have happened since Kashmir bled 33 years ago. And this policy has gone on irrespective of parties, coalitions, and prime ministers running in the office.
Okay, so Faraz, I keep coming back to this point. It's about the money. I'm sorry, I'm being very crude about it, because it is about the money, because there is so much money riding on India-Pakistan games. In fact, it is the highest sold for the upcoming World Cup as well. In fact, global cricket and global media survival on broadcasting of cricket depends on that India-Pakistan match. That is what it is. It boils down to commerce, right? Now, you cannot have on the one side money riding, and therefore money is the overriding justification, and you have soldiers being killed. I don't see the justification at all.
To start off, I can't agree more that it's the money involved, because again, can you imagine in BRICS there is China and India sitting together in one forum that is against the West. The Chinese and Indians are arch rivals. They have territorial disputes. They're killing each other's soldiers. Still, they had $135 billion worth of trade in 2022. It is economic. It is business. Can you imagine Saudi Arabia signing economic corridor with India? There are no, united history, but it is economics. Both of the nations have big bucks to trade with, and yet they are trading because it is economics. However, when it comes to the martyrs, whenever there's a martyr, every nation bleeds. Every nation is angry, and every countryman is angry. However, I have always been on the sidelines whenever there's a proposal that, every anger should become a tool for policy making for the futures of the generations or continents or regions. Anger should never become a tool. Your government, I would defend my country, but your government has not come out with the proof that it was Pakistani hand, hidden, tacit, which was involved in the killing of these soldiers. Let's at least wait for the government
one second. I think it's only a matter of time before that is established beyond reasonable doubt. Number one. So I will allow the investigators to come up with that. But Ratan Sharda, please respond to the larger point that he's making. China also killed Indian soldiers. In Galwan, 20 Indian soldiers were killed. But how come we are part of alliances with China? China was invited to the G20. Why? The same comparison can be made, Ratan Sharda.
Sorry, Zaka. First of all, though I never cross swords with Sushil ji, he's a very dear friend and a wonderful person, highly intellectual. But I think whether it's basketball or javelin or whatever, even the cricket was a multilateral tie that was happening. It was not one-on-one. It was not Pakistan versus India. It was part of multilateral competition. My issue is, why do we take knee-jerk discussions, knee-jerk debates because a terror attack happens? It should have been a policy the day Asia Cup and World Cup comes up. We want to discontinue all the ties. By all means, do it. I am no fan of cricket. I am no fan of this commerce. But to come at a time when something
Zaka, I
happens,
want to
suddenly
come
we
in
all
here.
wake up. Half the people speak of, having ban everything. Half of the people say talk to Pakistan. We will not talk to Pakistan on the point of the gun. Never.
Okay.
And yes, we want to disconnect or all the ties. Do disconnect all the ties. Stop all the sports, but let it be a reasonable debate when the issue starts, not when the issue boils.
I have to give
Zaka,
the
I
final
want to
word to Rohan
respond.
Gupta, but quickly, 10 seconds, Sushil Pandit,
I want
very
to
quickly,
respond.
yeah.
Thank
Please.
you. You see, I don't think Ratan Sharda ji, with utmost politeness to you, the stand that we should not play cricket with Pakistan is consistent across decades. It is just that it gets highlighted when there is an incident. It doesn't mean that we suddenly spring up and say we should play with Pakistan. No. It gets highlighted, it gets more contextual when there is an atrocity like this. But there is a consistent stand. And before 2014, you have been championing this stand that we must not play with Pakistan. Why this
Even now.
if and but today? Why these caveats today?
now.
Okay.
We need to
Rohan
champion this
Rohan
cause.
Gupta, I'll give Rohan Gupta the final word. The problem is that there are inconsistencies that are being drawn in. Even with this government, the reason why they are playing Pakistan and they make this, again, I keep saying this, tenuous distinction between, no bilaterals, but we'll play them in multilaterals because there are, commitments involved. What are these commitments? It boils down to money, right? The BCCI will be penalized if they are the ones who are seen as boycotting matches with Pakistan. They will be penalized by the ICC monetarily and otherwise. That's why they're playing Pakistan. Let's accept it. It boils down to the
I
money.
agree. It's all about money. I completely agree with you. And see, if you see one match between India and Pakistan, maybe it will give budget to Pakistan Cricket Board for the whole year. That is the real situation of Pakistan. So when we are contributing to our enemy country by doing certain acts, we should not do it. It's not only about emotional issue. Somewhere we are contributing to their economy. That is something we have to stop. And that's what I say. When we fight our enemy, whether it is China or Pakistan, the policy has to be holistic. The policy has to be consistent. You cannot fight China only by banning the app. It has to be holistic, where your trade with China has to be zero. Where all the kinds of ties with Pakistan have to be zero. You cannot contribute towards Pakistan's economy even a bit. So that is the overall stand where everybody should have it. But there cannot be politics.
I got to curtail the debate because I've got a piece of breaking news that's coming in. I want to thank all our guests for this fascinating conversation. We will leave it to the powers that be to decide whether we should be playing Pakistan. But like I said, it's commerce, overriding commerce. Crores of money is riding on India-Pakistan games, whether it's for the Asia Cup or the World Cup. But we'll see how that plays out.